Hello and welcome to the second installment of this format where we're going to go through all of the YouTube comments and respond to them in this way. So you get a more in-depth response if you want. It took a while to come up with the second installment because we were traveling for a month, but moving forward, we plan to do much more. So drop as many comments as you like. We have the amazing Jillian with us today, my wife, who's also amazing at handstands, and you get to have her perspective as well. Let's dive straight into it. So I am going to go here and I'm going to sort by newest comment, and I'm going to scroll all the way to the very bottom so we can respond from the oldest one and start there. So again, it's a bunch of comments because it's been a while, but we plan to do these more often moving forward. And the first comment is something I can relate to a lot. So it's on a video about Revenge of the Open Shoulder. If you're not familiar with that, I'll explain it again. And the comment says, catches the handstand, check, opens the shoulder, check, loses balance and falls forward, and then appropriate series of reaction emojis. So what this refers to is certain types of people, especially with stiff shoulders, at first they are working on handstands, they will kind of catch it like this, and they're like, oh, I'm here, but it's not straight yet. Let me make it straighter. Oh no! And they fall in the process of making it straighter because, coaches will say straight, straight, straight. And I can relate so much to this. First of all, you're so amazing for catching it. You don't need to feel like you're rushing to straighten it. But I want to share my personal experience with this because when I was starting out, my first handstands were a lot like this. I did not straighten it. And I remember specifically this video I came across, amazing video that I also want to show to Jillian, and we'll get her reaction as well. So I'll play the video for you.
To begin with, there are two types of handstands, and it's very important to know the difference between them. So there's the completely straight and the not straight. I really want to explain the difference because a lot of people think that you have to do them straight or you're not doing them right, and that's simply not true. This is the truth. If the completely straight version requires this much strength, then the not straight one requires a bit more, but this one is still harder. Because if this one requires this much balance, then this one requires this much balance.
Wow. Okay, so what do you think about this?
I guess that's true about the strength. Yeah, no, I think it's true. I mean, there aren't two types of handstands. There's like a million types of handstands, right? But it seems like it could be true.
Okay, here's the thing. I was doing this type of handstand. Let's make it bigger so you can see it. I was doing this type of handstand when I started because that's what all calisthenics people do. And maybe you look at this here and you're like, oh, this doesn't look right. But if you look at it in the context of handstand push-ups, you won't notice that the top position looks like this. And because it's in the context of handstand push-up, you won't see it. And once I was aware of this, it really did feel like it required this much balance. However, now that I know both, I feel like the planets are the opposite. What do I mean by this? I feel like this one requires this much strength. Like the difference in strength seems small compared to the difference in balance, but now I feel like the difference in strength is way bigger than the difference in balance. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like this one requires way more strength than this compared to how much balance this requires more than this.
Right.
You know what I mean?
The straight one is just so efficient. Like when you're comfortable in a handstand, you can just kind of chill there.
Yeah. But why do people make this comment then? So I will say my perspective. When I started, I felt like, by the way, I agree with a lot of the things in this video. I don't agree with everything as truth, but I do agree with everything in this video as a perspective. So highly recommend watching it as a perspective. And we'll add our perspective, is that it felt initially for me that everyone will learn this first and then they will learn this. And as I started coaching, I realized some people start automatically with this because they feel more comfortable, especially like if you're working with women who are more flexible.
Yeah, that was my first handstand.
Yeah. So I thought like, oh, if they're starting with this, they didn't have to go through this. Why bother? Just let them embrace this. And then I realized, actually, no, if you teach them this a little bit, kind of like you,
Yeah, no, this
then it
happens.
unlocks a lot of options, especially with press.
Because if you remember, I was doing the straight one, but you were way more consistent. And you could hold it longer. And then sometimes you would tell me like look more forward or something, and then I would be able to hold it longer.
Yeah. So it felt for me initially like this is like step 1, this is step 2. And then I started seeing like, okay, if someone's starting at step 2, they don't need step 1. But then I realized everyone needs a little of both eventually. So going back to your comment, you don't need to rush the journey. If you're catching it like this, embrace. I'm not the type of coach who's like, oh, we need to work on your weakness. Many times I'm like, we need to work on your strength and a little bit on your weakness, but embrace and double down on your strength, because many people on the other side wish to have that type of strength. So catch it, build long holds, don't worry about open shoulder, and then later start to worry about open the shoulder. And of course, the first few times you will fall when you open the shoulder, maybe you will resent it a bit. But so the same thing happens with the other people. So the people who start like this, when you teach them this for press or for crow to handstand, they will always fall when they do this. So it's just whatever you start with, you embrace, and then you nurture the other one.
Plus, if you're doing other shapes, like if you're doing a scorpion or stag, then you're going to be in a planche position.
Yeah, you are. But planche position, when you have a counterweight, like in stag, is much different than planche. But let me just do a demo so maybe you can see this. When you have the shoulders kind of like this, so they are bent, but they have a counterweight, is much less heavy than they are bent, but the legs are on the same side. Now it's way more strength. And of course, I have to show you the straight just for fun. And we'll move on to the next comment. Unless you have something to add.
No.
Okay, awesome. So, if I want to learn handstand push-up, very related, should I train more the handstand or the bent arm press things in advance? Actually, I'm glad this came after this one, because like we said, many people who do handstand push-up, now that you will see it, will do kind of this. And some people will do this and go all the way. I respect that a lot. It's much harder, but many people only do this. So it depends on what you're happy with. Many people even like do this. So it's like more bent arm and slightly going to handstand and coming back. Depends what you like. But definitely you want to learn bent arm press as a prerequisite. But your handstand balance for handstand push-up, if you're only spending a second of a top, doesn't need to be so amazing. I train 90-degree hold, shoulder stand. There's probably an easier way. 90-degree hold to shoulder stand. I think this, like some people kind of train this. It's easier to do on P-bars, but they'll train like coming here and then going down like this, but they're so low here that it's not easy to press up from that low position. You see, you spend a lot of strength. I highly recommend kind of training from a more almost straight position, so it's easier from there to press up. And once you figure that out, you don't need to do a lot of depth in handstand push-up at the start. So definitely train the press. hspu is basically bent arm strength, but that said, you can and should start with wall handstand push-ups. If you can do that, buy some light dumbbells and overhead press. Yeah, I didn't do a lot of wall handstand push-ups. I still feel that wall handstand push-ups are heavier than middle of the room handstand push-ups, because you have to do the same weight vertically, but provide some weight horizontally to touch the wall. But definitely they'll build a lot of strength. So, yeah. Thank you for taking time to answer. I will keep pressing. Thank you. Oh, what if I hate crow, but I love frog? I can do L-sit, elbow lever, headstand, frog, shoulder stand on low parallettes. That's the thing we mentioned with this one, where it's really hard to pull up. But my shoulders are past 90 degrees, yes, which I heard is bad and shows you're weak. It's not bad, but it's much harder to push up from there. And also, if you're so deep, you can kind of be a bit relaxed because you're resting on your shoulders. So then you're not making a lot of gains.
Sorry, what's frog?
Like this crow.
Oh, okay.
Tuck planche, good form, 5 seconds is so impressive. Else it, the tuck planche, the shoulder stand, so impressive. So what if I hate crow and I love frog? You have to ask yourself, why do you hate crow and you love frog? Most of the time, if you love frog and you hate crow, it's because the position of the knees is not comfortable on the elbows. But you don't have to do crow with heavy. Like the yoga people want to be efficient, they will be resting on the knees and it's pretty light, it's fine. But if your goal is to gain strength, like you're not using the knees on the elbows like this, you can use the knees on the elbows like this, like a spot. So as you're practicing like bent arm handstand, let's say you're here, you can kind of put the knee a little bit just to spot yourself and come up from there. So you're still gaining a lot of strength. So I have an old video, maybe I'll try to find it and edit it here, where I put a EMG sensor on my deltoid, and you see that I can do crow with the knees heavy and I'm resting on my bones, or I can be pushing, maybe not enough to achieve a lift, but enough to almost achieve a lift, and that allows you to gain a lot of strength and also to not hate the pose because it doesn't feel like the knee is doing this on the elbow. So let me know in the comments why you hate it and we'll talk about it from there, because if you're able to do tuck planche for 5 seconds and you're talking about crow to handstand, you can do crow to handstand by slightly passing through the crow, right? So actually, it might be advantageous, instead of doing crow and trying to push into handstand, you can do crow without the knees, and now you can add momentum as a form of assistance. Because if you do like this, now you've added momentum as a form of assistance, which you don't have the option to do in a regular crow. A little bit all over the place, but do you have thoughts on this?
No, I was just surprised that if you can do a tuck planche with good form, you would hate crow. Like something is not connecting.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Especially if they can do frog.
Right.
Yo, thank you for putting the effort into answering these questions. Thank you so much. Or person, I'm not sure. Okay. This is amazing. This is on... I made this video where I show how different types of handstands are more shoulder versus trap heavy. And actually it fits in perfectly with this, because this one is more trap heavy, this one is more shoulder. But if you click on that video, you don't have to take my word for it, because I put muscle sensors and then you can see it. It's me again. Basically, you're doing a straddle planche, but it's not straight. You're closer to a high pike, but I think this is good. I think the advanced tuck issue is that most people have is on the leg and the lower back position. Even your advanced tuck look bad in terms of form. This is conceptually, it will help people understand if they can push their hips backward instead of skipping. Okay, so very, very interesting topic. First of all, let's see where my straddle planche is. I haven't been training it a lot on vacation, but we'll, rather than pulling up the old video and saying why is this bad, I'll do one now and screenshot it and talk about it. So again, for people who don't know, tuck planche is when you keep your body horizontal, straight arm like this, and straddle planche is when you do that and then try to extend the legs, keeping the straight arms. So I'm gonna go like this and try to extend the legs, keeping the straight arms. Now, to achieve an extended body, there are many ways to go about it. So some people do the natural extended body like this. So maybe spine a little bit arch and a little bit pike. And some people do this, and then it looks kind of cooler in planche. But from what I gathered, okay, small parenthesis here. I'm not the best at straddle planche. And when you said my advanced tuck looked bad because I wasn't focused on it a lot, so I can do a good advanced tuck, but I just don't believe in it. So I don't think it will help you to get my perspective. This is how you should do it, but it might help you to get my perspective as someone who has hired many elite coaches on this topic. So just to give a quick recap, I've hired one-on-one for a few months a really cool coach called Cameron, and then I hired Mr. Wong for an hour. I hired for a few months Valentin, one of the world's best planchers. I've hired Rabah for a few months, helped a lot. And who else? So I hired a bunch of people with this. And from what I've gathered, sorry, baby is crying, so Jillian, welcome back. From what I have gathered from them is that you don't want to speed up where you are by trying to make it too perfect. So this is not perfect form, but it's already so stimulating for me, and it's not necessarily so bad that it helps to work on that before trying to make it perfect. I was forgetting Radoslav. I did a session with Radoslav, and he showed me how to do like a really great form, but it didn't feel so good for me at the time, and I want to go back to it, but I'm not ready yet. Okay, so I wanted to wait for Jillian and Diane to come back before I say this because I think you will have some opinions on this. So I did not start teaching handstands until I felt I was good at handstands enough to be teaching them. But by the time I was good enough to start teaching them, I feel like I lost a lot of connection of what it's like to be a beginner. And I felt that not a lot of what I had to say changed in a big way. And in some way, I thought I should have started teaching handstands sooner because I would have been more in touch with the people I was teaching at the time. I didn't want to make that same mistake with planche. And when you see all of the coaches I named, their first planches were pretty much like this. Sometimes even the form is more bad. And because they didn't start really teaching until they got good, many times they might say, don't make my mistake, but you're not sure if that mistake was essential in the journey. So hopefully you find this valuable, but if not, you can refer to all of the other coaches I mentioned and even way more new people I would like to hire that are doing amazing things. So if you're a planche lover, you should do that maybe. What do you think?
I think that you're very analytical, which lends itself towards good coaching because you're never doing something without having the awareness of it. And you're always like, I don't mean it just like as a compliment because like you're a thinker. So Mazen doesn't actually train that much. He thinks a lot about what he's doing and it makes him train very efficiently.
Yeah.
I'm more of a doer. And it takes me a little longer to get things because I'm not as analytical.
I'm glad you said Mazen doesn't train that much because this is relative. Like many times I feel with the people I talk to, I train so little, I'm a little bit shy to admit it. But also many times compared to some of the people I work with who like are used to not training at all, it feels like that's not
part of our lifestyle.
It's all so. I consider myself, compared to a normal person, a planche lover. But compared to like Valentin or any other person like this, where there's so much more into planche, it's its own discipline, I feel like, okay, maybe I should not say I'm a planche lover because it's not like my full thing. Okay, can you make a video on how to get the strength for handstand push-ups? Honestly, the thing that will get you the strength is the thing that you enjoy doing consistently. I don't enjoy fundamentals, so I got strength for handstand push-ups by doing things that feel like games, like skills, like crow to handstand, then come back, crow to handstand, and then do 2 more reps, But one of my students, Enrico, told me he loves fundamentals, and even though I don't practice that, I put a lot of fundamentals in his program, and he made more progress than me. So he became actually stronger than me. So Fundamentals are great. I have a video of fundamentals. Just to be clear, even though I don't do fundamentals, maybe once or twice a year, I'll do 2 weeks where I'll do a lot of fundamentals to rebuild a lot of strength, but most of the year I don't do fundamentals. Okay. Mom, I'm on YouTube. Thank you, 50MN. You're in this video featured twice. By the way, I have a question. I'm having trouble keeping my body in a straight line. My lower back arches and my hips tilt forward, making it difficult to control my lower body, even though my shoulders are open. Can you suggest exercises to fix this? Thank you in advance. And then a response said, hollow body hold. No, please don't.
Please,
do
no.
hollow body hold. Such a waste of time. Such a waste of time. Again, I have met coaches who say hollow body hold are important because it feels in the moment that you're doing it, but none of my students who actually are stuck benefited from hollow body hold, and we never done them. So the short answer is get longer balances. Don't blame the hip tilt. You can have many hip tilt and stay in balance. Look, I'm in handstand here. I can tilt like this. 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 I can twist. You know, hip tilt is just an excuse. Just get better at balance in any shape you like. Again, I'm doing open shoulder here, but the first year I was doing closed shoulder, like the guy we showed at the beginning. So it depends on your goals and how fast you want to improve. If you're holding 10 seconds consistently, I think you're awesome. If you're not, let me know and we'll talk about that. Came to learn handstands and left with depression. This is a joke video where I said how to build handstand push-ups. First do baby press-ups and then do wife press-ups. So people got sad because they don't have a beautiful baby and a beautiful wife. But honestly, like how we met is I had a lot of acrobatic style photos on my Tinder and she thought it was cool.
Like, right.
So get good at handstands maybe, and that might attract people who enjoy the same things that you do.
True.
Your abs look amazing.
Agreed.
Yeah,
Like
and Katya, I think it's a girl too. Thank you so much.
Like a waffle.
Guess what? I learned it in 3 days. 3 steps for forearm stance for beginners. You're awesome. You're awesome. This is amazing. Thank you so much. That's my favorite type of comment. You reckon it will help with trying to learn handstand? It's not needed, but 1,000,000% forearm stand balance will help you learn handstand. How your legs behave, how your hips behave, and a little bit how your shoulders behave is exactly the same. And then how your elbows behave will be exactly the same as how your wrists behave. The reason why I said a little bit different with the shoulder is it's a shorter length, so you have to do a bigger correction to save it. Just like when I go from here to here, a longer distance for the same angle is traveled by the tips of my fingers than by the elbows. So because of that, you have to do a bigger movement in the shoulder to make the same correction in forearm stand as in handstand, but you get used to that very quickly. I can do one-arm push-ups with bad form, super impressive. Note, I couldn't do like one push-ups 3 months ago. Super impressive. Knee push-ups for beginners is one of my most popular videos on YouTube, so maybe I should do more push-up style videos. Let me know if you're interested in that. Baby voice. This is not talking about my voice. This is talking about Diana's voice. And,
I hope so.
In one of the... No, it's in that video. So thank you so much, Saleh. Thank you so much, Mazen, for this video. Very interesting as always. Hope you're watching this one. I also have a question. How did you build your strength? Was it through high volume or basic exercises, push-ups, pull-ups? Through skills, just trying to do more skills. Did you go straight to skills? Yes. Well, when I say skill-based fitness is my system and it's all based on skills, it means that sometimes you might do fundamentals because you try the skills and it uncovered something and you go back and do just in time, just enough fundamentals to solve that specific problem. This does not mean that you never ever do fundamentals. It just means that you do just enough to support the path of the skill and regressions of the skill. I'd love to develop the strength needed to do cool moves, but I don't want my muscles to get too bulky. I'm a woman. That was my follow-up question. How can I become strong while staying lean? Many thanks in advance. Okay, short answer and then slightly more nuanced answer. Short answer is bulky doesn't happen like this. It happens gradually and slowly. And if you see something getting bulky, you can change your training accordingly. And bulky is not a general thing because women love bulky glutes, but maybe they don't love bulky shoulders, so you can see how it's affecting you and act accordingly. And second thing, very important, is many of the people, including me, that you see that might look more bulky than you might like is because posture. So many times I love the look, so I might record the video more like this, and the influencers you see with muscles are like doing this and this. When people are chilling, usually they will not look so bulky. And third thing is look at other people doing these moves. So there are women, I'm not going to name names, but there are women who look amazing, and maybe women who look a little bit more bulky, which I think still looks amazing. And you see how they train and you compare. But again, the most important thing is it happens gradually, and it's something very worth exploring. So if you, let's say you did something and, oh no, I got too bulky, you stop doing it for a week and it reverses, and it would have been a great shame not to explore that, because this is how you kind of learn more about your body. Do you have anything
It's also
as a
very
woman
genetic.
to say?
Whether or not you're going to get bulky, right? It's very genetic.
Yeah, but I mean, everyone
You
can
can have-
get bulky.
Yeah, but you can have the same strength level as someone else, and one of you looks really ripped, and one of you looks like a normal
Yeah.
guy on the street.
Now, I don't know how much you want to get into that kind of science, but the body adapts to the demands in a certain way. So if you're doing low reps, high weight, slightly less, more likely to adapt in terms of using more of your existing muscle fibers rather than hypertrophying them, but still might happen. We don't need to talk about that. Just if you approach everything slowly, which is a very similar analogy to learning handstand. Like some people say, oh, I did this challenge and my shoulder broke. No, every challenge you try should be approached slowly enough so that you observe the effect of your actions as you are doing them before they come into completion. So I'm never, oh, I watched the handstand tutorial, whoop! You just try things slowly and you're like, okay, this is good, this feels good. Oh, now my shoulder feels weird, let me study what happened. So always approach things gradually and observe the effect of your actions. I can do the exact same thing, but I cannot press the handstand. Okay, here's the thing. There's a whole category of video I have that is about tests. If you can do this, you have the strength to do a press to handstand. But that's what it is, an assessment to see if you have the strength. So if you can do this, you have way more than enough strength, but you still might not have the balance, you still might not have the technique, you still might not have the courage. So many times people are asking, is this strength or is this flexibility? This is just assessment. So when you say, I can do this, but I cannot press, it's not because it's wrong, it's because you might be missing other things. But the good news is you're not missing strength. Okay, definitely less than 50%, I'd venture to say 0.5. Okay, so in case you guys don't know, this was a joke. I saw a popular yogi who's like, less than 0.01% can do this, look at me. And I thought it was silly because the whole point of yoga is like not to be attached to these things. So I made my own challenge, and as a joke, I said less than 50% because if you say less than 50%, then you're safe. But if you say less than 0.1%, you have to show the math. In our house, by the way, we calculated it, it was 33% of people
Which is less than
can
50.
do this, which is less than 50. So people are saying way less, it's less than 100, that's smart. Less than 0.5, I don't know. Okay, by the way, also less than 50% can do this, which means if they train, maybe they can do it. So 50% can't even do a tuck planche twin. Same response. I did a straddle planche push-up. Oh, bro did a straddle planche push-up and said less than 50%. Thank you for calling this a straddle planche push-up, because it's calisthenics nerds will say no, it doesn't count because it's a small repetition. Big deal. This is like saying less than 50% have six figures. Both are technically true, but not accurately correct. It's technically true is accurately correct. Bro offer no value to the viewer, and the former is nothing than self-aggrandizing. Bob Richardson, sorry you feel that way. I try to keep a mix, so some videos are entertainment, some videos are valuable, some videos are inspirational, but yeah, not everything is valuable because we're having fun. 0.1% can do this challenge. The microphone attached to this chest hair never gets old. Thank you. A little bit less than 50, homie. Less than 2%, not even less than 50%, less than 0.5. He's right, I can't. Less than 50%.
Okay, you can scroll past these. We get the,
I can't even do the kneel. Did you achieve eternal life with that? Oh, you didn't? Then what the hell was the point? Did you achieve eternal life with this comment? Oh no, you didn't. Then what the hell was the point? I don't know, man. I think it looks cool, and yeah, nothing will help you achieve eternal life because we can see, you know, like what do I mean by this? Like there's in the Hatha Yoga Pratipika, they say like if you do this, you will escape everything, including death. But like the author died, and
they mean death in a separate. But we don't profess to be yogis either. We're not trying to do yoga over here. We're just trying to do.
But also, people who do yoga and profess to that, they also, like everyone dies. It's fine. There is no eternal life in the physical form, if that's what you're chasing. Okay, 50%. I'd be impressed if 2%. Yeah, bro, it will be much. 250 seems high. Less than 50 were abducted by aliens. Okay, really solid. And real advice. Thanks so much for your content. Do you mind sharing the equipment you're using for camera and microphone? Camera, Sony a7 IV with a 35mm or 28mm lens, I think. I'll do the links. And this one is the Holyland Lark M1 or M2. Very cool stuff. The Sony maybe is a bit expensive. You can achieve the same quality with a lesser camera, but this one, I guess, it's easier to transfer files, so it's faster because I film a lot of videos. So hopefully this helps. And thank you for commenting on one of my less viewed videos. These have a lot more value, but they're not as appealing to the masses. Best video I've watched, thank you, about the kick-up. Thank you so much, I appreciate you a lot. What is your origins? I'm Lebanese. Okay. About the transverse abdominis. For me, this is the best way to get into a good posture, and I do it sometimes. Maybe some awareness already, but I have very good to hear I should activate it slightly instead of pulling it all in. Okay, good topic. It greatly affects the posture of my ribcage and the way I breathe abdominally and draw in the belly. So thank you so much for this comment. I don't have much to add. I'll just recap for the viewer. This was an old video where I talked about something that was more personal to me. I had started working out. I started having abs, but I still have a belly, and it was frustrating me. And then I realized that if you're having abs, and also I know my fat content, like visceral fat, is not high, why do I still have a gut? It's because my transverse abdominis were so lax, and I wasn't used to how posture should feel like. And once you fix your posture, it kind of goes away, only if you're already that lean. Like it won't remove fat. And I think it's very underrated because a lot of people do this and they think that, oh, it's because my back muscles are weak. But I said in another video, if you strengthen the biceps, you're not going to walk like this. You still walk like this. And even if your biceps are not strong, you might still walk like this for some personalities. So a lot of posture is related to personality and expectation. And if you kind of reprogram a new personality and expectation for your posture, it can have great returns. Amazing. Okay, bro, the universe is bigger than the world. That's not how the saying goes. There's no saying. I thought it was a joke to say, this is the best way to learn handstand in the universe and maybe even in the world. And it got you to comment, so it was worth it. Samurai Kaizen. Love Kaizen. I don't even know where to start. I honestly think I will just try normal workouts and running for my health, but these moves and your physique looks great. If you don't know where to start, I have an amazing system that teaches you all of this from scratch. And you can try it for only $35, cancel anytime. I'll say something quick here is the price. Like, I've interviewed a bunch of my customers and they seem to prefer buying something one time for $100 and using it never than trying it for a month for $35, and if they love it, to renew another month. So if you notice this bias, these videos are very helpful and I'll continue to make more. But honestly speaking, the people in the community make more improvement because they're more invested and they get feedback. So check it out. Definitely a technically true statement. This is fair. Not sure if my shoulders are just weak, but I can barely do one pike push-up. Likely the shoulders are weak. That's not a bad thing. Or could be the engagement. So some people don't stabilize the root. I have another video on that. But, you know, post a pike push-up and we'll see it. James Adam, hi, thank you. How many years have you started this training? Were you doing anything before? This is a very hard question because it can be true. Many answers can be true because I consider myself, I started at 27. I'm now 32 or 33, I forgot. But I started as an adult and I was not in shape and I struggled to do a push-up. I worked a lot to do crow, and when I kicked up to the wall, which took a long time, my face would get red and I would huff and puff. But also, when I was 14, I went through a phase where I worked out a lot till I was like 15 and then I stopped. And then when I was 17, I worked out a little bit and then stopped. So how do I answer? Do I say I started at 14, or do I say I started at 17, or do I say I started at 27? Maybe I just say what I said and you can decide for your own. Can you please tell me, girl, do this because girl wants 10 laps? Again, with the other comment, like if you train your lats, they're not going to be bulky. The people who have bulky lats on purpose, like stand to show them off, but you can, with your posture, kind of not have bulky lats. And like, if I'll put a link to the timestamp where we discussed it earlier, if you're skipping this, they get bulky very slowly. So if you observe it getting bulky, you take a break. And that's what's so beautiful about working out, because people think, oh, I don't have time to work out 7 times a week. But if you're like this, you might get away with working out 2 times a week and then have a lot of time to do other hobbies, maybe like playing the piano or the guitar or anything like that. Okay, I don't understand what open shoulder means here. We talk about the open shoulder in this angle, not in this angle. And as you go up, it's more open. And if you go back to the beginning of the video, we talked about how some people find handstand easier to hold in a closed shoulder. Some people find it easier to hold in an open shoulder. Bro is the real sleeper build. Thanks, I guess.
What does it mean?
Sleeper build means you can't tell they're working out until they do something. They're working out.
We kind of talked about that earlier.
Whoa, with no scapular protraction is crazy. This video I do talk to Straddle planche. I'm not sure how I did it in that video. I'm not going to click on it now. But the thing with scapular protraction is many times it is protracted, but if someone is lean enough, you can still see the scapula bone. And you always, in order to be able to do a straddle planche, have to have some degree of gluing the scapula to the rib cage. So while maybe not fully protracted, the protraction muscles have to be engaged, which are the serratus anterior, and many people forget the pec minor. So yeah, you have to do some kind of protraction to make this happen. I doubt I didn't do it here because you would literally collapse. It's very hard to do. Even people whose shoulder blade pop out, there's some engagement. No one's like relying on the elasticity of the tissue while being lax to be able to do these moves. It just won't work. OMG, your voice changed. Okay, this is a response to a comment where someone said, you forgot to struggle, and please, someone said specifically, please pretend to struggle so we can feel good. So instead of saying like, here's how to do it, I pretended that, it's so hard to do. So yeah. Comment in a different language, but with the magic of modern day technology, we can translate it.
No.
You should be able to translate.
Maybe in the three dots.
On the phone, maybe in the three dots. On the phone, I translate it usually. Boom. Okay, please give me some advice. I was able to almost do a press, stopped about 85%. I remember in one of the videos you mentioned that if a person can reach this position and hold it, they have enough. Okay, I will, without seeing your video, I will say what likely is thing. If you try to touch your toes, you can bend your knees, it's fine. If you try to touch your toes, you can touch, sorry, can you hold Diana? Okay, if you try to touch your toes, you can do it. You'll notice the hip goes back. If you try to touch your toes here, you can't do it, and maybe your abs will cramp because the wall is blocking your hips to go back. I'm not talking about this, I'm talking about if your heels are close. The walls block your hips. This is easy to see. Unfortunately, in handstands, a lot of people get kind of here, and they're like, how do I do it? How do I do it? But their body is resisting allowing the hip to go more over. And because it's very scary, that's why if you go back to the beginning of the video, I was doing that closed shoulder handstand. It's very scary. But once you figure out that this is the issue and you start gradually nurturing that position, which will feel very hard at first, then you will be able to redistribute the balance. It's not a strength issue. It's just redistributing things, and you will be able to get up. Again, this is short answer, but if you want to learn more about it, a lot of stuff are covered in my other videos, or you can join skill-based fitness because it's amazing. Okay, that's a really cool entrance into a Tpress. The one that I know is hard on my knees, which are really bad, so I tend to avoid it. I'll try this one. I don't know how else you can enter to this, so if you post your entrance and send me a link, I'd love to see it. Hello, sir. I'm from India, and I am also uploading calisthenics and YouTube videos and yoga videos. Your content helps me a lot. So amazing. Keep going. It's very worth it. And also, yeah, thank you. Eyes, amazing. Okay, we lost Jillian and Diana, but we'll keep going and maybe they'll come back. And this comment says, always give credit to Bharat and yogis of Bharat. Hopefully I pronounce it correctly. And this is on the Noli Kriya tutorial. Now, I will say my thoughts on this and let me know if you think this is fair. So, I don't know who the yogis of Bharat are. I learned about Noli Kriya from a YouTuber called MyFitnessPal a long time ago. I'll put his thing here, but I probably won't be able to find the specific video. And it was briefly mentioned as part of his warm-up, and I think he called it a belly roll. And I didn't know it was called Noli Kriya. Or maybe he mentioned, but I didn't know at the time. And I kind of intuited how to do it, like tried a lot of things and figured it out. And then later on, when I realized it's a yoga kriya and it's called Noli Kriya, my way of crediting is I said Noli Kriya tutorial so that people can look it up and learn more about it. Many of the viewers and the comments on that video and on Instagram were like, oh, what is this? I've never seen it before. It looks so cool. And I assume went to search for Noli Kriya. So my way of crediting it was, instead of saying, look at me doing a cool belly roll, I say Noli Kriya tutorial. But the way I teach it was not in any way taken from how the yoga community teaches it. And in fact, back then, a bunch of comments were like, oh, I'm a yogi and I saw this way of teaching it that was insightful and now I can do it. So sorry for not in a 30-second video crediting the yogis of Bharat that I don't know about, but I am sharing my experience now, and I think just by calling it Noli Kriya, I am giving credit in an amount that I think is fair. Okay, let me know if not, by the way. Thank you, so that's nice. How do you figure out what kind of correction is needed? Asking for my daughter and for me on the posture video, and it doesn't show the name, but oh, Yaakov, thank you so much, man. I know Yaakov from the skill-based fitness community, and you don't need any correction. I was talking about this to say that it's not always when you strengthen a muscle, it's contracted permanently. But I think posture, like we said earlier in the video, I'll put a timestamp, is a lot of time reflecting of your kind of movement personality. You know, some people on purpose are like this because they think that if you stand like this, people will think you're showing off. So if your body doesn't hurt, you don't need any posture correction. Also, if artistically you want to navigate the world a certain way to invite a certain interaction, you know, so we talked about this as a form of not inviting interaction, but also this can be a form of inviting interaction. In subtle ways, people feel more, people who would approach you feel more confident to approach you if you're like this than if you're like this, I guess. So don't need to worry about any kind of correction. Unless it's something specific, then ask me about it and we'll talk about it. Yes, please tell us more on the posture video we just did. He has a six-pack, thank you. I'm like 250 pounds. Depends on your height. This might not be pretty bad. One of our members in skill-based fitness is 245 and he's, I think, 6'4", and he looks amazing and he does amazing handstands, amazing backbends. So it depends. And, you know, weight, there's more and more people on social media that are heavier and still are able to do amazing stuff. So just like we talked about how these exercises can, depending on how you use them, make you too bulky or not too bulky, also depending on how you use them can contribute to weight loss or not. But obviously diet here plays a big role. Okay, as you can tell, this is not as fun without Jillian and Diana. So we will wrap it up here for this installment and then we'll pick up where we left off. There's a bunch of comments, but don't be scared to add more comments because we'll go through them quickly and we'll get to your questions. And yeah, thank you so much. I'll see you guys next time. Enjoy.